RC. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Lube Reviews. I am your host, Luis Jimenez. So happy everyone is here in the chat. I want to say hello to Simon Fly, B. Baker, Breeder Syndicate, who's our mod, Yoshi, Idaho Strong, who's got some chips and salsa, just getting out of work. Glad you're here and you can join us. Preston Paget, Caplizier, Mick D, sup back to you, and of course, good old Pat Calabria up here, and Morty Matt, and B. Baker, and Andreas. You guys, thank you all so much for being here. I see you, Jello Putin, Michael Wade. What is shaking, everybody? Lord Bass. Again, so happy all y'all can make it. Pinzer, our awesome mod, who is always here and always ready for some dope stuff. I saw Matt Riot's name there, and I wanted to pull this up here real quick, because this is going to be part of what we're going to talk about today. And so, yeah, and it's a good thing that Matt caught this, because it's relevant. It's really relevant. And it actually was put out by John Greenwald earlier today. So people have already caught on to it. I was hoping to be the first to cover it, even though it's a year old, but it's all good. I'm not trying to be the first to the beat here. I really don't give a shit. Because again, like we're covering a LARP. We're covering a bunch of nonsense. And by the way, thank you everyone for being here. This is Lou Reviews, the destination for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. And again, I'm your host, Luis Jimenez. Please don't forget to smack that like, share, subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you're notified anytime we go live. If you want to donate to the show, super chats are great. We've also got links in the description below to a Venmo. So donations are always welcomed. With that, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, we're going to be talking about Ryan Bledsoe. We're going to be talking about Ryan Bledsoe because he's the hot thing right now. Everybody's talking about him because he was on the Sean Ryan show. He finally released his episode with Ryan Bledsoe and, or is it... It's not Ryan, it's Chris Bledsoe. Sorry, there's so many Bledsoes. They've all got alien stories. They've all got, they're all really important and talk to God. And it's just... It's like it's a family, but it doubles down kind of as a cult. And so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Jake Barber, whistleblower Jake Barber. It seems like trying to recruit Paranormal Chris, who's been on the show a few times. He's a veteran who is a really great resource, especially when it comes to these former military whistleblowers who are making a lot of claims. He's a great resource when it comes into checking into the military backgrounds of these whistleblowers and seeing if their claims match what's in black and white. And it seems like every single one, where they've worked is right, but timelines, places they've been, all of that stuff seems to be off or wrong. Jake Barber has claimed to have liberated Kuwait. And yeah, that happened. Or it was at Lebanon. I think it was Lebanon. One of those two. Turns out that happened almost 5 years before he even was in the military. It's just a bunch of discrepancies. Anyway, it seems like he's tried to put an olive branch out to Paranormal Chris and / recruitment / intimidation DM to Chris. We're going to go over it. There was a space where we talked about it. I highly recommend checking out Paranormal Chris on Twitter. His spaces are always recorded, so you could go listen to that whole conversation. I was there in the conversation, and it was interesting to listen to Chris's stories and find the parallels. There were so many. I didn't even need to find them. They stuck out like sore thumbs, the parallels between my experience with Elizondo and Jake Mann and Jesse Springer and Sean Cahill and that whole crew of military guys making big claims, telling me to be patient, telling me I'm on the right side of history, telling me all of these things to keep me baited and going and fighting viciously, not for the cause, but for them. I've explained why I felt that way. I feel that way so many times. There's almost a 4-hour episode of everything that went down between me, my show, my co-hosts, and Lou Elizondo, and the order of events and all the intimidation tactics and the eventual blackmail through other people, which was stupid, blackmailing me for apologies. Like, it's all there. So if you want to go listen to that, those shows exist. They're in the timeline. Just search for them. But it was kind of sad, a little. I started getting some feelings about what went down a little over 2 years ago with UCR and Elizondo and the whole thing. And it's just sort of recropping a lot of stuff. And a lot of people have been asking me about it again lately. It feels like every 4 to 6 months this happens where people are asking me about it, or the conversations always tend to go there because the narratives come from him. The tone is set by him in a lot of ways, and people that are around him, not just him. And again, I also want to I should start this show, and I really got to put it in my pre-show notes, that everything you hear is an opinion here. All these are opinions unless we show you the actual facts that line up with what we're talking about. And then I don't have a issue to, calling somebody a liar or anything like that. But it's just like, all of these people are getting lawsuits and letters from lawyers and attorneys. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, with the claims and the things that I've said and the things that I've outlined on this show, I'm surprised that those things haven't happened to us yet. Maybe I'm speaking prematurely. Maybe they will. I don't want those things, but if somebody wants that smoke, I'll oblige. I don't like being pushed around. I don't like being bullied. Just like a lot of other people in this community don't like it either. And there's been a few people that have gotten letters and intimidation tactics. And this letter, this DM to Paranormal Chris sort of recropped a lot of those things up and just got me thinking again about, damn, man, like the manipulation, the taking under your wing. They're like, oh, you're in. The amount of times I've heard people say that they told me you're in, honestly, like it could be the name of a series about this whole thing. I would title it You're In. I think so many people have heard that from different aspects of these UFO LARPer, grifter camps, and whistleblower camps. But anyway, we'll get into that. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we'll try and get it in the next 2 hours. In the meantime, let's go ahead and switch to our Lou reviews. Good old Lou reviews. Let me put this over here. Sorry, guys. I'm just moving some things around here. I don't know why it does that. All right. But anyway, let's do that. Okay, cool. So, we got that. Okay, we've got that. All right. So let's hit up our bookmarks and let's just get right into it. Let's get into the Chris. I've got a couple of Chris Bledsoe clips here. One of them is a comedic clip, and then one I got sent by Matthew Wright. So I listened to the entire interview with Chris Bledsoe. We've covered Chris Bledsoe many times on this show. I honestly, I cannot understand how people believe what this guy's saying. But then when I really listened to him on this Sean Ryan show, there was a couple of things. First off, if you don't know, sort of a little backstory here, this interview was filmed last year and it was supposed to be released a couple of months ago. And there's been, I don't want to call it a big uproar, but a tissy fit, not only from the Bledsoes, but the people who support them. And some people who I never expected to support nonsense like this, and I'll just call them out right now. Our buddy of the show, Grant Levac. I do not understand why you were so adamant about Sean Ryan releasing this interview. I don't know, but it feels like you believe Chris Bledsoe, and it's very difficult to kind of wrap my head around because you really give shit to a lot of people. Say like Ashton Forbes. I'd say Chris Bledsoe and Ashton Forbes are the exact same thing. Exactly the same thing. Unreliable narrators. People that are not worthy of your time or serious thought. There were so many things that stuck out of this interview, and I didn't pull the whole clip because it's just too long. And I've got the link for the entire interview in the description below. So if you want to go watch this whole interview, you can. I also want to pop up my fair use banner. Fair use, this is transformative work. We're educating the public on the clips that we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. We're also going to be mocking the shit out of it because it's crazy. But here's the first thing that really stuck out for me. And I said to myself, you know, in any other fucking subject or walk of life, if you heard this story, you would say to yourself, Jesus Christ, it sounds like something sinister happened. And I don't have good vibes about it. At the very least, I feel like that's what you would walk away saying. But for some reason, in this conversation, Sean Ryan never addresses it. And I guess it wasn't weird to him. I guess it wasn't weird enough on the review of this, especially when you're editing. I'm assuming, I don't know if Sean Ryan listens to these shows. He probably doesn't. If I had to take a guess before he releases them, I don't think he re-listens to them. I'm sure whoever edited this show probably came to him. I have a feeling, don't know this, again, opinion, but I have a feeling that whoever was editing this episode said, this guy's fucking crazy, and some of the stories in this guy's timeline are weird. And again, give me an icky, yucky feeling. And I'm going to get into that story in a moment. And I have a feeling that's why there was a delay to this being released. Again, the Bledsoes threw a big hissy fit about it. They're like, why won't you release this episode? Are you trying to censor and edit us? They use the not releasing of it as Sean Ryan censoring them. And I really think there was a conundrum here for Sean Ryan because he's, you know, former military. He's got the American flag in the back. This is American propaganda 101 from literally the man himself. Okay, that is literally the show. Okay, I don't think he would deny that. He is pro-America. He is an American first show. And freedom of speech is a big thing on this show. And so to watch or listen to this episode and say to yourself, fuck, man, this guy's crazy. I don't know if we could platform him. I don't feel right doing it. Because, yeah, some of these kind of icky feeling. And again, we're going to get into it. But I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of the producers and the people who helped, you know, do the audio, the editing, the uploading of this, the color correction, all of it. And I really think they had a conundrum with this episode because they have to know, because anyone with a level, common sense, grounded human being would listen to this entire interview and go, yeah, I think that guy's fucking crazy. Fucking bullshit, batshit, nutty. And if he's not fucking nutty, he's a crazy great liar. Could be a mix of both. Could be a little mix of both. Jonathan Fredericks with a $5 dono. Thank you so damn much. Can't stay long, Luis. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the $5 dono. Appreciate it. So here we are. Right? And I think that was a conundrum. So they have their internal discussions. They delay the episode. There's little uproar. People are like, where's the episode? I want to hear about the orbs and Jesus and God and Christ and the aliens. I want to hear all about it. I want to hear about how this guy has healed people. I want to hear about his UFO story. Let's get into that. So Chris Bledsoe's UFO story. I'm going to paraphrase this story again because it's like a 10 or 15 minute story that he tells on this episode. And I highly recommend people go back, and if they did listen to it again. Because if you didn't pick up on this, And Andres is in the chat here. I'm curious to know if he's listened to this interview. But there's a moment where Chris Bledsoe talks about his UFO story. And here's the, again, summation of that story. He goes there, they go on a hunting trip, his son and two men, mystery men. Don't know who they are. Doesn't seem like they're related to the family because he doesn't mention that. Anytime he does talk about family, he always mentions who they are. These are just two mystery men. We don't know who they are. So a young 17-year-old kid, two mystery men, and the 17-year-old kid is the son of Chris Bledsoe. So they go out on their hunting trip. All seems well. At some point, guys go their separate ways. Chris Bledsoe really wants to do some meditation. So he wanders off into the woods with a gun. I believe with a gun. Which is okay. I get it. You're alone in the woods. You're hunting. You probably want to have a gun. I get it. But it's, you know, again, like with these woo-woo guys, they always have guns. It's just so weird. Anyway, so he goes to his spot and he meditates. And during this meditation, he calls down a fire, sun-like orb. And he sees little beings, which at first he thought were demonic. He got scared. He was worried. He went back to the campsite. When he gets there, the two mystery men inform him, actually not inform him, but they ask him, where the fuck have you been? You've been missing for 24 hours, essentially. We've been very worried about you. Where the hell have you been? And he's like, I was only gone for 2 hours. What are you talking about? What's going on? Oh, and by the way, where's my son? To which the two men reply, we don't know. He went looking for you. He was so worried, he went looking for you. So we don't know where he is. To then which Chris replies, well, holy shit, I'm really worried. Let's go look for him. Where do they find little Chris Jr.? In the bushes. These are his words. They find his son in the bushes, bawling his eyes out and scared out of his mind. And the first words out of his mouth were, Dad, why did you leave me here with these demons? Because apparently he saw the same demons that Chris Bledsoe saw on his 24-hour excursion and time jump. His son apparently saw the same orbs, saw the same creatures, and it freaked him out so bad he went crying into the bushes. That's the story Chris Bledsoe gives us. I hear that story, and I say, that gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies. Not because it's mysterious and aliens are here, or there's demons walking in the woods of North Carolina. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies because if I had heard that story in any other walk of my life, I'd been like, oh man, poor kid. And yeah, I'm inferring something here. Again, these are my opinions. I don't know. But when I hear a story like that, I don't go, oh my God, they really saw demons. Unless you want to count humans doing demonic things, like two mystery guys. Again, we don't know who they are. And people have looked into who they are. And for some reason, he doesn't want to answer that question. It's very strange. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. I'll grab a drink. On a personal note, I think I've played golf 7 times in the last 2 weeks. It feels so good to play golf again. I digress. So the next thing with Chris Bledsoe, let's go into these clips, and then I want to share with you guys what Matthew Wright shared with me because I thought it was incredible. Absolutely incredible, and encapsulate honestly these 3 clips and the story I just told. Not that I just told you, I didn't make that up. The link is in the description below. If go listen to it for yourself. These 3 clips, yeah. Again, if they don't convince you that this guy's fucking nuts, and he's tying possibly some traumatic events in the woods or maybe elsewhere to these orbs that he calls and sees. So this clip was shared by Mick West on Twitter, best skeptic and debunker in the game, most respectful and the most useful, hands down. If you do not follow Mick West and you listen to the show, that's the first person you should follow. And if you ever want to know if anything is real as far as a video and you're confused, you're not 100% sure, just at Mick West and ask him, hey, can you help me with this? This looks real, but I just don't know. And I promise you, every time he will help you with it if he hasn't done that video already. So he writes, Chris Bledsoe says you can't see UFOs. You can't see the UFOs he summons if you're skeptical. They wait until you're not looking and then reveal themselves to the faithful standing next to you. How does that work when there are cameras constantly recording? Are the cameras skeptical too? Or do they reveal themselves to just the believers and not the cameras and skeptics? How does that work? I mean, let's say, even if it does have that technology, well, why were you able to catch them in the 50s so clearly? The 50s, remember all those great UFO photos from the 50s and 60s? The black and white ones, crystal clear. Holy shit, look, the guy just stopped in his truck and took a picture. What are the odds? And there was so many of them. And what are the odds in the 50s and 60s that you, first of all, fucking own a camera, but you had it in your pickup truck? I think there's a reason why we don't get those crystal clear UFO photos these days with 4K cameras in everybody's fucking pocket. Because they were hubcaps. They were hubcaps. They were really good hoaxes. Anyway, let's listen to this clip, shall we? I think my volume's all the way up. Here we go.
I've seen it 1,000 times. People come to see the phenomenon with me. I've as many as 75 with me at the time, and it appears. But there are certain people, if they're afraid, or if they're skeptical. I can tell you, skeptical people about this phenomenon will never see anything.
I've seen one. I saw one when I was 13. I don't think I was very skeptical. I was a full-blown believer then. If I had heard this story when I was 13, whew, man, that would have set me on a completely different path in life. Thank God you weren't around when I was 13. Thank God the fucking internet wasn't around. Internet. Gotta love and hate it. It is a double-edged sword.
They're left out. Because if they know your free will, they don't want to change your, go against your free will.
So they know your free will. So what do their technology takes that measurement of the crowd? Listen, if you're doing this first of all, he said he's seen it thousands of times. I don't think he has. Number one, thousands of times. Okay. Think about that. Number two, if you're taking a crowd of 75 people to go see UFOs, I think it's safe to say that all 75 of those people want and believe and need to see a UFO. And if you get a few of them that don't see what the 72 other people are seeing, it's because their free will is off. Prove it. If you've seen it thousands of times, there's only 52 weeks in a year, and you're doing this with groups of people, And I mean, he uses the example of a size of 75 people. Once, let's say he does that once every day for 365 days in a row. Would that be thousands of people? Let's see the math. Always love math. So 75 times 365 days a year. That's 27,000 people. That's 27,000 people. Yeah, again, and that's if he's doing it every day. I mean, let's do 375 times 52 weeks. Just do it once a week. That's 3,900 people. I don't know if he's doing it that often. I'm pretty sure he's not. You'd have to have like a Melinda Leslie kind of tour going on if you were doing it once a week. You know, you'd have to have like a UFO hayride like she's got. And that'd be a fucking huge hayride. 75 people. That's a lot of people to organize every week. I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm calling bullshit on you've seen this and done this thousands of times. And the idea that these craft are measuring your free will, and they're also determining all of the camera systems, and magically camouflaging themselves from them, not turning them off, not shutting them down, not breaking them, not moving the angles of the cameras. Just not even appearing. Like they're like Dracula when he goes in front of a mirror. He just can't. Ooh, ghost cop. What We Do in the Shadows. Favorite movie I think of all time. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend watching it. All right, let's listen to the rest of this clip.
But they can appear in a group of 50 people standing beside me, and that one skeptical person will look that way for 1 second, and it'll appear in front of everybody else. I've seen it 1,000 times. It knows how to.
He's seen it 1,000 times, so he said it twice. A group of 50 people, group of 75 people. One skeptic looks this way, then everybody else sees it, who just happens to be looking that way.
It knows where you're going to look before you look.
Oh, so, okay, got it. I got it, everyone. Now it makes sense. It measures your free will, and then it knows where you're going to look before you even do. That's how advanced these aliens are. Oh, no, wait, they're not aliens according to him. They're angels. It's God. It's Jesus. Those are his words, man. I'm not putting words in his fucking mouth. He's saying these things, not me. This guy. This guy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just like Sean Ryan. Interesting. Oh, it sure is. It sure is. Oh, it sure is. Okay, now, this was one of the funniest things that I heard in the Sean Ryan interview of Chris Bledsoe. Again, fair use. This is transformative work. We're educating the public and critiquing and mocking the videos we are sharing and the people that are in them. This is covered under fair use and allowable by law. It's also the reason why I stop these videos every few seconds, just to make fun of them, mock them, and then move on. So that way we don't get the copyright strikes, those infamous strikes. Okay. Let's listen. So again, this is UAP James. I think he's one of these big believers online. Just loves people like Chris Bledsoe and loves listening to bullshit predictions like this. But he says Chris Bledsoe tells Sean Ryan the return of Christ may occur on Easter 2026. Bledsoe says the U.S. government has remote viewed this date and Lou Elizondo is aware of it. Okay, let's listen to this one. What's up, Rocky? Welcome to the show, bud.
exact alignment will happen in 2026 at Easter.
What will happen?
The star will, the alignment she told me about, that the star of Regulus would be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx. At that moment, there'd be a new knowledge. Well, I had no idea if this was even possible, but these astronomers run it through the machines, and it comes out that that star is going to come up on the horizon in Easter of 2026.
Dude, I swear to fucking God, that sounds like a plot from Raiders of the Lost Ark. When Indy puts the thing, the stat, or was that wasn't Raiders, that was not Temple. The third one. Anyway, he puts the stick in the ground, and then the sun comes through and lights up a thing, and all of a sudden, and it's the perfect alignment. Has anybody checked this, by the way? The Star of Regulus aligning perfectly with the Sphinx on Easter of 2026. I feel like somebody can find that out. Somebody way better with that kind of stuff than me. I'm looking at you, Matt. Looking at you, Matty. Or anybody, really. I think this one's a pretty easy one to find. I just haven't had the time or really the motivation to go find it. But if I had to bet money right now, not knowing for sure, if I had to bet money, I bet you the Star of Regulus does not line up with the Sphinx on Easter of 2026. Please, someone prove me wrong. Anybody. It's the plot of a fucking Indiana Jones movie. Okay, but go on, Chris Bledsoe. What else do you have to say about this date, 2026 on Easter?
And from that point forward, they started remote viewing this date. Government did. And now you hear it all over TV. 2026, that's the big date. 2027, that year, something's going to happen.
Which one is it? Which one is it? It's 2026 or is it 2027? Now, this has been known for a few years, and I've said it on the show a few times. And I think what's happening is these idiots I don't want to call them idiots, because I think they're tapped into technology and science just as much as me, just as much as anybody who's in this world. And I'm sure, just like I have heard from astronomers and science blogs and also, and just places online, that there is an asteroid heading toward Earth, and it has a 1.6% chance of hitting the planet. And it's the highest. That's the highest in recorded human history. But then in 2032, I believe, it makes another round that gets even closer, and the odds go up to like 3 or 4%, something like that. Don't quote me on these numbers. But what's happening is these doomers, these doomsayers, these prophets of profit, these assholes that think they could talk to fucking God, and we'll get into those stories in a second. They're using that knowledge to spread mysticism and awakenings. It's like the same shit that the Mayans did with solar eclipses to their people. It's like apocalypto. They know when it's coming, and they're using these things to convince people that they are talking to gods. And that's what he's doing here. Well, something's going to happen. The lady told me. By the way, if you guys don't know who the lady is, go check it out. Listen to the interview down below. He talks about her a little bit, but it's this woman, this angelic figure that appears to him every Easter. Every Easter she appears to him and tells him 2026 or 2027. I'm not sure which one, but the Star of Regulus is going to align perfectly with the Sphinx. So which fucking year is it? Please, if you're out there checking, also check 2027, because we're getting 2 dates now. But please, I guess I'm the asshole. What else, Chris Bledsoe? Go on.
You hear it all over. You hear it on TV. If you study, I've heard even. Well, I won't say names, but
please do.
Please do.
Well, you know Lou Elizondo, right? Lou's mentioned that date. A lot of people have.
That date, honestly, in this community, and I've said this, and this is not a fucking moment of pride. It really isn't. And it's the reason why I took the fucking interview down. But the date of 2027 was put out there by John Ramirez. That's who put that information out there. And in the 2 interviews that we had with John, it was the most downloaded, ripped off, watched interview that UCR ever had. Ever. And 2027 was a date that he threw out there, and that was aggregated and went viral, legitimately viral. And I am so ashamed of that fucking moment. And this date keeps coming up because of Ramirez, and specifically that interview. Because that interview was the one that was shared by Sean Webb, who is huge on TikTok. When I saw the numbers one day, I was like, what the fuck just happened to this? It just went viral. Holy cow. And it was that clip. And it was also his top secret meeting in the fucking Holiday Inn where they told him all about this. It's bullshit. It's a lie. And I think it's doubling with that information of this asteroid coming statistically the closest that any other asteroid has ever come to the planet. And like with all asteroids, hey man, there might be some other rocks floating with it that maybe enter our atmosphere and cause some severe damage around these times. But that doesn't make these dickheads right. So it's just, these guys are we'll get into some of these stories. We'll get into some of them.
Easter 2026.
Well, the year 2026. I gave him a specific time.
But you just said
And it was
2027.
with Robert Grant that I told him about this alignment and all. And then he's like, oh my God. He's been looking for this ruby. This little ruby you have to find and place it between the paws of the Sphinx to make
a ruby that you need to place between the paws of the Sphinx. This is a fucking George Lucas script. Honestly. And I can see why some Hollywood executive douchebags have listened to this and gone, oh man, we need to make a fucking movie about this, especially if we could put at the front of it based on real events. Man, oh God, I hate I don't like this guy. I really, really don't. Hate's a strong word, but I kind of hate him. Kind of hate the guy. I'm not gonna lie. He's the worst, dude. There was something here. I'll think about it in a second. All right, but let's listen to the rest of this.
make this event that he knows is going to happen in 2026. I said, Robert, it's not a ruby, it's the Star of Regulus. He looks at it, he's like, oh my God, it's the King's Star.
All right.
So
I don't know shit about astrology, so what am I supposed to respond to? I've got nothing. I've got nothing to say to this. This guy just told me there's a red ruby that goes between the paws of the Sphinx on Easter 2026. And Lou Elizondo knows about this too. Do you know about this, Lou Elizondo? We're gonna get a cease and desist from your lawyers. I don't know. If you're gonna send me one, better fucking send Chris Bledsoe one. He's the one out here in the streets fucking blasting out your name, buddy. Like, All right, hold on one second. So I wanted to, there's 12 times that he mentions heal, the word heal or healing in the Sean Ryan interview. And so I want to get one of these, if one of these three clips doesn't have the clip of him healing him, I found the one of him healing himself, but I kind of really want to play for you guys the one where he talks about healing a child. So not only is he going into the woods with his kids and coming out fucking absolutely destroyed and traumatized, He's also speaks to orbs and to God and to angelic beings that live and come down in these orbs. He's begged for the orbs to be shown to his family. His family has seen these orbs. They've been basically raised to see these orbs. Oh my God. Dude, there's so much about this guy. His RC, haven't even gotten to his RC planes. We've covered his RC planes many, many times on this show. He's got a garage packed, jam-packed, and if we got time, I'll play you the clip, packed of RC planes. I counted fucking 11 of them in a 9x16 TikTok frame. Just in his garage. His kids are all RC enthusiasts. He's a former pilot. He lives right down the street from a military base. Diana Pasulka lives 50 miles away from him. It's just a fucking perfect storm of stupidity and belief systems all wrapped in one. And this guy is all over the place, I guess is my point. But let's listen.
What's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah.
It's like it's like this is like conspiracy fucking Harlem Globetrotters. This is like Chris Bledsoe just fucking throwing up the alley-oop for Sean Ryan and his Christian beliefs to slam dunk the return of Christ in 2026. And I love how he sets this up. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think in 2026, the return of ... Right, you wanna, yeah? The return of Christ? Wow! Fuck yeah! Conspiracy, baby! Woo! Yes! The return of Christ! We got it! Fuck yeah! This is fucking insane. This is insane.
So he looks like, oh my God, that's the King Star.
It's the King Star. I don't know what the fuck is it.
What's going to happen? I don't know.
What's going to happen? I don't know. But, and there's always a but with these fucking prophets of prophet. There's always a but. Go on.
I think it's possible that's look at
look, that's I want to look down and to my right. That's oh man, this is like a fucking, honestly, dude, it's like a basketball play in slow motion. He's driving down the fucking net. He draws the defense, and just as they get to him, he lobs the shot, and here comes the lob.
Return of
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, the crowd goes fucking crazy.
Heavenly host living with us.
The
or
lady
and the whole
listen to this.
Christ.
Yeah. Or the lady and the whole heavenly host living with us. Jesus. That's the first time I've ever said that in my life publicly.
Oh wow, we're so buzzed to hear it. Oh my God, that's the first time I've ever said it right here on a podcast. Jesus. Oh man, society is fucked. Society is fucked because we reward the algorithm and the money rewards shitty conspiratorial information because it's sexier, it's more clickable, and it's for fucking stupid people. It's for fucking stupid people. This episode in particular is for fucking stupid people. If you walked away from this episode and you said to yourself, man, that Chris Bledsoe, wow, what a great guy. Son of God. Talks to God, heals people, predicted Jesus Christ returning in 2026. He's my fucking guy. But if you put that information Imagine that was coming out of Kanye West. What would you think about that information then? What if that was coming out of the president of the United States? Would you think he was fucking crazy? If it was coming out of your uncle, would you go, well, blow it out of your ass, Ted? Get out of here, Uncle Ted. You're fucking drunk again. Anybody in any walk of life tells you what this jerk off told you in an interview, and I don't know if you'd ever want to talk to him again. I know I fucking wouldn't. Especially after that creepy UFO story with the two mystery men. Actually, you know what? Just because... No, that's not it. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is... Again, fair use, transformative work. We have the link to the entire interview in the description below. Oh, oopsies. Oopsies. I made an oopsies. Oh, shit, sorry guys, give me a second. Accidentally clicked the wrong thing here. Here we go.
Because of the struggle he had. And it wasn't because of that so much, it was after, right? It was a lot of trouble after that he went through. And we'll talk more about that in a second. But, you know, to see your son in shock, eyes like this.
Meanwhile, just to preface this story here, this is when he found him in the woods after missing for 24 hours, and he's been alone with two strange men.
Shaking. So he's like, why did you leave me?
What was your initial thought when you saw your son like that? What did you think happened?
I was freaking out. I didn't want to tell him what had happened to me because he's talking out of he's saying things like, these creatures, Dad, these creatures, why did you leave me? Why did you leave me? I said, I didn't leave you, son. I've been gone but 20 minutes. He's, no, Daddy, you've been gone all night. And
how old was he at the time?
17. He's just a baby. You know, they're babies at that age. And so he began to tell me, I grabbed him. All he wanted to do was go home. He wanted to go home. He didn't want no more what happened to him. And so what happened was where he was.
Just heebie-jeebies, dude. And again, listen to the whole damn interview for yourself. I've got the link in the description below. You go listen to this whole story. Because, again, it's a 15, 20-minute thing. And, like, this kid just wanted to get the fuck out of there. Just wanted to leave. It's I don't know what happened in those woods, but I don't think it was aliens, and I don't think it was demons, and I don't think it was orbs, and these are my opinions. It's a lot scarier things like humans.
Call her the white buffalo calf lady.
Oh, so this is great. The lady. He's going to talk about the lady here in Ursula, who is a Native American and believes she can speak to her ancestors and also these aliens. And she says Chris Bledsoe talking about, quote, the lady, also known to Native Americans as, quote, the white buffalo calf lady. She always comes to warn about imminent danger. And so, honestly, this sounded like straight out of Harry Potter, if you ask me. this story was straight out of Harry Potter. Well, yeah, let's listen to him.
Call her the White Buffalo Calf Lady. And she would come warning about some tribe coming to kill everybody or some big event. And it's in every culture that way. But I'm as, I wish I knew more.
What else do you know?
You don't know shit. I guess that was a shorter clip. I thought that was a little bit longer. Yeah, there's a couple of clips here that are also mocking. And by the way, this reminds me, over the last week, our good friend of the show and best meme maker of all time, Cosmic Judas, his Twitter account was suspended. Possibly permanently, from my understanding. And it's because the reason Twitter gave is because of, I believe he said it was, Twitter thought they were fraudulent accounts, and he has two different accounts. He's got the Cosmic Judas and he's got the Cosmic Judas surplus account. And this has happened to me on a different account, where, the Twitter thought it was a bot. And I had to explain to Twitter, no, it's not a bot. I'm a real person. This is my name. This is my address. This is where I log in from. Like, I'm a real person, basically. And then it wasn't a problem. I thought that was going to be the same thing here with Cosmic, but it seems to be a little more difficult. And we're not really sure why. I've reached out to a few people, and they're as high up, I think, as I can get. One of them reached back and said, hey, like, I've got a guy who works at the company who's got very good relations, or not good relations, but, like a corporate relation with the account that they run. And so let me see what I can do. And so we're waiting to see. We were hoping it was just a 2-week ban. We're not 100% sure. I hope it's not permanent. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update. It came out of nowhere. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. Because it's needed. More Cosmic Judases are needed. But the good thing is that I feel like he's inspired a few other really funny people and good editors, like this guy Secret Corp. If you guys don't follow him, highly recommend checking him out at Secret_Corp. He's been making some really great cuts with Bledsoe and a whole bunch of other things. He's just, again, making memes, and I think being inspired by people like Cosmic Judas, it's good to see this uptick in other people also helping us mock this LARP. And bringing awareness that it is a LARP and not reality, not a serious topic, not a serious study, not a serious science, not a serious anything. There's no seriousness in the UFO UAP topic whatsoever. Zero seriousness. It's all LARP, all of it. And I will continue to say that until you fucking give me evidence or proof of the contrary. I'm always down to change my mind, but have you seen the film Mysterious Skin? Bledsoe gives me similar vibes. No, I've not seen that. Tabby Cat. I've not seen that flick. I'll check it out though. I don't know if I want to watch it now. But let's watch this Secret Court cut because I think it's funny.
Okay. When I was a little boy, I'm gonna
just pause for a second because I don't know where the music's coming from, but I hope we're good on it.
The restroom 25 times or 20 times a day. It's traumatic. And I had gone into, I was unconscious. I'd never told this message about what we just talked about until now, because now I think it's the time to tell it. Only my family knew. You're the first.
You're the first, man. Oh my God, so funny. So funny. So funny how many times he said that in an interview. So many times that you can make a cut like this about it. Hey, this is the right time. You're the first. This is the language that these dickheads use all the time. It's what I saw it happen in real time with Jay from Project Unity and Ross Coulthart. Oh yeah, I got a secret for you. I always got one for you, Jay. Let me tell you about the craft so big that crashed, the UFO alien spaceship that crashed into the planet, so big it couldn't be moved. They had to build a building around it. That's a story just for you, Jay. I saved it just for you, baby. And I'm saving all of these stories and all of this prolific shit for this moment, for the Sean Ryan podcast. This is it. I've hit the big time. Dude.
You know, I grew up with a gun in my hand, 5 years old. What's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah.
What
we got this line.
Exactly does that mean?
I think it's like a wireless internet, basically. It's complex, and, you know, I'm just guessing. I said a lot. He's coming back to save us all.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Dude, when he was talking about consciousness, that's what the clip that he pulled, it's like Wi-Fi. And then they talk about the router, and dude, it just made no fucking sense. But great little clip. Okay, so last thing on Chris Bledsoe, and then we got to move on just because we've spent a lot of the show on it. But I really want to hammer home that this guy is full of shit. And so what better way to do that than to share a really wonderful moment here from Chris Bledsoe. And this was recorded by our very own Breeder Syndicate, who's in the chat here, and a friend of the show, Matt, who's been a friend of the show for a long time. He's been on the show many times, and he recorded this last April. He popped this up on April 28th of 2022, so this is fucking 3 years old now at this point. But it says in the description, Chris Bledsoe orb experience gone SpaceX. Did you see it come directly at him? Comment below if you think this is a comment in SpaceX or if Chris Bledsoe met Jesus. So Chris Bledsoe was having a live stream, and he's live streaming this amazing, I'm just going to play this clip and then we'll talk about it. Because when I first saw the clip, I was like, okay, that looks like this, and whoa, what the fuck was that? Okay, that was kind of cool. But listen to what he does. And he put this up. He just listen to what he says. Dude, the whole thing is just fucked. But I'm going to play it and then we'll talk about it.
You won't believe what I'm filming, by the way. I'm sorry. While you're talking, I'm filming the most incredible thing. There's a bright orb running the length of my pond, and it has a tail on it. My Lord, thank you for this. My voice is shaking. You're not going to believe this video. I'm 24 seconds in.
He's on a speakerphone, there's sirens going off in the background, and he's recording this purple light with what looks like a tail on it. Looks like a fucking comet, right? Okay, but the Lord sent this to him. He's speaking directly to this thing. He's summoned it. That's what he's claiming, right?
Now it's responding to our conversation, guys, and this is amazing, I'm telling you.
He's on the phone with people telling them this while he's also recording it, right? So you can get the proof. So people are like, wow, oh my God, he can talk to them, he can summon them, wow.
It has an aura around this orb, a tail, It's shaped like a V, and it's very big, and it's orange, pinkish orange. It's still meandering down the length of my pond. I mean, this is incredible.
Okay, so yeah, here's the story from Breeder Syndicate himself. He says, I recorded this live on Instagram live when it aired. So he was doing a screen recording while because Bledsoe's taking this down, and we'll show you why here in a second. But since then, I mean, just listen. This is how confident he is and what he's looking at. And I'm going to tell you what he's looking at here in a minute, especially if you've never seen this video. But this is Chris Bledsoe. Excuse me, I just burped. Chris Bledsoe does this almost every day. Almost every day. The other day he put out a video of the ISS and thought it was an orb that he summoned and that was sent by Jesus. And thankfully, Mick West was quickly able to determine it was the ISS. And he's a fucking idiot. But let's continue with this video because this is the one we got.
This is something very touching, connected to your loss and your daughter. This very well could be.
So now he's telling the people on the phone that what he's looking at could be connected to the loss of their daughter. This is the shit he does in private and sometimes in public. And this is why I fucking can't stand this guy, on the verge of hate this guy. Because he's taking the traumatic events of the loss of a child, manipulating people into thinking that God is sending him the message to tell those parents who are grieving that your daughter is okay. God is telling me. God is talking to me. Fuck you, Chris Bledsoe. Fuck, nothing boils my blood more than shit like this. It really doesn't. Especially when you find out what he's fucking looking at. And by the way, we're only halfway through this fucking clip.
It's time for you, Jim. This is amazing. I'm telling you, you're not going to believe this when I share it with you. David, both of you. We're talking amazing. I mean, I can't explain what I'm looking at right now. But I'm going to show you, Lord willing, this video. Oh, Lord, thank you, my Lord. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Did you see it? Wow.
Oh, wow.
You want to believe what I just filmed? It came straight at me and dipped down in the woods while I'm filming this huge orb with the tail. Now, this is amazing. You both are going to be blown away when you see this. Thank you, Lord, for this. And now I got an orb appeared above me, another one.
Wow.
This is crazy.
Just crazy.
My
Yeah,
voice
it
is
is.
shaking.
It is
It's
fucking
turned
crazy.
and it's heading just above the trees now, this huge orb.
Just above the trees. That thing is fucking maybe a couple 100 miles away. At least 100. It's not just above the trees. And this is why you cannot fucking rely on any fucking testimony, especially from this asshole. I mean, here he is filming it in real fucking time and he's telling you it's right above the trees. Okay, so where's the light emanating from it on the trees? Why are the trees not lighting up if it's so close? It's so fucking frustrating. And then you get assholes like Diana Pasulka pushing this dickhead to people like Sean Ryan and other people within the fucking the academic communities. Because you've got one fucking professor at the University of North Carolina or whatever fucking university she works at saying stupid shit and encouraging assholes like Chris Bledsoe to believe that, drum roll please, what was he looking at with the comet tail? It was a SpaceX fucking rocket. Yay! A SpaceX rocket. How do we know this? Well, great question. Because we have the article of the SpaceX rocket launch from that day. Yay! November 10th, 2021. Yay! Here's all the information about it. So, we've got that. And then we've also got this. Oh, well, okay, but that doesn't explain the bright flash, Lou. What was that? On November 10th, the exact same day as this fucking rocket launch, the comet visible in the sky, Comet Leonard, which was considered one of the brightest comets of that year and could be observed with binoculars in the dark skies. Some observers even managed to see it with the naked eye depending on the conditions. It's just how you guys fall for this shit, dude. So actually, I got to reverse. The pink thing with the tail was the comet. The flash was the rocket. Was the re-entry of the rocket. I'm just rereading it. So, yeah, I mean, like, what are the odds of those things happening at the exact same moment while this asshole's filming it? I guess pretty good. Pretty good. And we've got the evidence to show you exactly what it is. And when this was pointed out to him, he resisted at first, but eventually he took it down. But that doesn't take back the people he was talking to on the phone that he was saying this was a message from God to that his daughter's okay. This is Chris Bledsoe. This is who Sean Ryan is platforming on this fucking show. It sucks. It sucks that the shit is what gets rewarded as far as algorithm is concerned. The shit is what gets rewarded. Now, just real quick, I want to see and that's when it healed me. Okay, well, that's when an orb healed him. Young lady, I mean, it was healed. Cancer. Okay, listen to this one.
Flash. And
Can I see that video?
Yeah, I'll give you one. It's 6 foot tall, 7 foot tall. And when it did that night, a young lady with me was healed from cancer. Wow. This happened.
So just stand next to him and you'll get your cancer healed.
Happened in 2015. But, so
you stand to him, cancer healed. Let's see what the next one was. Oh, this was great. This was actually online for a while. This story is fucking nuts. Steve Camion has covered it quite a few times about the dog getting shot on Chris Bledsoe's property. It was videotaped, this whole fucking event. I can't remember where the tape went, but here he is talking about it, and listen to what he says.
I'd seen a dog miraculously get healed, and I didn't know what happened and how that happened. But these people thought at least we'd try some UFO guy that healed a dog to help this child. So I was terrified. I didn't know what to say.
So, well, this is the part where he talks about how he healed the dog, and because people had heard about how he healed a dog that got shot by this shotgun, they wanted him to help their child. And so then he goes and talks about how he healed this child. No names, no descriptions, like there's no way to verify any of these fucking stories. We just have to trust them, bro. We just have to trust them. And as you can see in real time, he can't even decipher a comet or possible. To me, I was like, oh, it's got to be a rocket launch of some kind, but it was a comet. And the way he describes it in real time is inaccurate. It's just above the trees now. Oh man, thank you, Jesus. Oh Lord. Like it's a religion, dude. It's a cult. Look at the title of his book, UFO of God. He is a prophet of prophet. I think he's a cult leader, an unknowing cult leader. But when I listened to him talk about how he's healed fucking dogs that were shot with a shotgun point blank, and he talks about how stand next to him. You just heard the clip. Stand next to him and you get healed by cancer. Just all sorts of fucked up, stupid lies. They're fucking lies as far as I'm concerned. And until you can prove it, I think you're a fucking liar. That's my opinion. And I think anybody who believes Chris Bledsoe or any one of his fucking sons is also a fucking liar and can't be trusted. And if they're not just a fucking liar, then they're just really misinformed. It's fucking gross. And I hope I never have to fucking talk about him again, but I'm sure we will have to, because unfortunately, like I said, the algorithm rewards stupidity. The algorithm rewards fucking misinformation. Today, Julian Dory released his second interview with Lou Elizondo in secret. Didn't tell anybody when it happened because he knew that he would get a bunch of fucking questions that would end the relationship with Lou Elizondo. I guarantee you none of the fucking questions that the community has that were of real concern were asked to Lou, or any of the inconsistencies that were in the first interview were pointed out to Lou in the second interview. I almost fucking bet on it. I don't even want to watch the fucking interview because I don't want to click it. I don't want to give him the fucking algorithm bump. I can't stand these fucking podcasts and these podcasters who pose as fucking journalists or people that care and they don't give a fuck. The only fucking thing they care about is getting their numbers up and making their show a living. That's all they fucking care about. And I get it if you're doing video games. I get it if you're doing educational videos. I get it if you're entertaining people with comedy or some other form of entertainment. But when you're selling fucking cults and prophecies and fucking doomsday dates and bullshit, I think it should be fucking illegal. To me, it's fucking fraud. It's straight up fraud. I could understand being fooled and thinking that what you're saying is righteous, but there have been just too many fucking instances in which these guys lie. And if they didn't get called out on it, because people are smart and they can figure shit out real quickly online, especially, they would have just went with it. If it was 1994, he would have had it on his VHS and everyone would still be pointing to that video today as some fucking amazing event. But now we have the internet. We don't need to do that shit anymore. We don't need to rely on, just fucking trust me, bro. This shit gets debunked so fucking fast, and it's just... It's infuriating. It's infuriating, man. It really is. That this is what this is the cream that rises to the fucking top of this shit beer, like literally poo beer. It's infuriating. Pat Calabria, thank you for the $5 donation. I want those mushrooms on my pizza, right? And that's another thing too, like. These guys talk about psilocybin. There's a clip I have here of Diana Pasulka. Like, you have to be high to see these things. Well, no shit. No shit, you have to be high to see these fucking things. Just ask Angelie, that fucking psychopath who had some, man, God. Ugh. She was in a space the other day talking about me. And she didn't have the fucking gumption to say anything when I was in there. But boy, she had a lot to say when I left, just like a lot of other people who all of a sudden had the bravery to come up to the platform and start talking. the second I leave. But these people are fucking crazy. They're crazy. They think they talk to aliens. They think they talk to gods. They think they're fucking special. And then when they get called out on their lives, they put up their hands and they go, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Oh, did I tell you about this new alien story I just had? This new alien encounter, whatever the fuck they're pitching next, dude. And it's just par for the course when it comes to the community. Instead of saying, no, sorry, you're not welcome in this space. Get the fuck out, go start your own space. They welcomed in and they get their asses kissed and they never get challenged on anything. And the conspiracy continues. Let it fucking don't stop my conspiracy train, man. Just let it keep running. Oh, anyway, all right. I'm off my soapbox for Chris Bledsoe. Let's move on to the next soapbox, and that is this story from Average Chris. This was a really interesting one. First, I'm going to read you what happened here. So just a little preface again. We sort of set this up at the top of the show. Jake Barber reaching out to Paranormal Chris, who again is a veteran himself and who's been very vocal and a really big help to people like me who are trying to keep this discussion grounded in fucking reality. And because nobody, there's just very few people who want to do that. Everybody wants their fucking heads in the clouds and they want to believe everything, and everybody's telling the truth and everybody's got their own truth, as if that's meaningful. You could take your own truths and go fuck yourself with them. Seriously. Like if I fucking hear somebody tell me, oh, this is my truth, just get the fuck out of here. Just go. Just stop, okay? If it's truth, if it's fact, then that's what it is. I don't need to fucking be told it's your truth or fact. That's not how it works. Facts are for everyone, not just one fucking person. Truth is for everyone, not just one fucking person. So this is the message from Jake Barber reaching out to Average Chris. Hi, Chris. Reaching out to say hello. We have seen a few of your posts. We understand your motivation to be critical and respect your freedom to keep it up. I would just encourage you to leave yourself a path out. I've heard that before. There are things happening that you don't understand. I've heard that before. There's a complex disclosure plan underway that is 7 years in the making. It is genuinely for the welfare of all of humanity, which includes you, by the way. I added the by the way, but just which includes you? Yeah, no shit. Thank you for pointing out the obvious, asshole. Right? But there's a complex disclosure. What's the complexity of it? Why, please, why is it so fucking complex? Explain it to me. They never want to explain that part. It's just it's too complex for me to wrap my little brain around. It's 7 years in the making. 7 whole years. Wowee. We know who you are and your work, quote, he put in quote, work history. Man, there's so many things here. Just like, okay, I'll read the rest. We would like to offer you the opportunity to come and see the operation at the range firsthand and meet key people operating behind the scenes in very high places. You're obviously open-minded with some of your fringe interests and are a veteran. If and meet key people. Okay. If you're up for it, we can make arrangements for you to come see this work firsthand. You would love it. It will change your life. But trust has to be earned. It is not granted. You have an opportunity to be an important voice in the movement. This is an invitation to end up on the right side and see what is really going on. We don't take the X banter personally and forgive you. We would hate to see you end up with egg on your face at the end of this. Pun intended, by the way. American flag. Oh, man. Why is everything in this fucking community and the voices and the people at the top so fucking cringe? there's so many things, man. Like, to break this down. Okay, so that's the message. Again, you could go check out Paranormal Chris's page. He's got the whole, he literally verbalizes this whole story, reads you these messages, and then reads you the messages post the back and forth, what happened here. And I'll paraphrase what basically went down. So Chris is like, yeah, sure, sounds good. Thanks for the olive branch, although I need some details. Like, and first of all, this letter didn't hit him right. The way that he reaches out, it's from Jake Barber's personal account, and he uses this word "we." We've seen a few of your posts. We understand your motivation to be critical. Leave yourself a path out. We know your work history. We would like to offer you an opportunity with people in high places. Like trust has to be earned. You have an opportunity because to be an important voice in the movement. You've got an opportunity to be on the right side of history. These are all the fucking things that people like Marie von Kloppenstick and Jesse Springer and Jake Mann and fucking Sean Cahill and Elizondo to some level would say to us all the time. You'll see, we're going to be on the right side of history. Well, you haven't been so far. You're not even close to it. And just because you're getting a fucking movie made doesn't mean you're right. Like, well, whatever. That's a whole nother thing. This was also sent to him. There's a very small group from X, specifically you, because your background and personal interests are in alignment with ours, and we believe you can still be spared from agency-paid propagandists. The others, not so much. And I fully understand your hesitation if you have any, but we look forward to building trust and rapport. The subject and what is going to happen this year is bigger than all personal biases. For what it's worth, we truly value everyone's support and would like yours and respect that comes with trust and evidence. So this is basically Chris going, well, why me? And he gives him the reasons why. But this idea, like, we're sparing you from paid propagandists, like they're saving you, like they're here to fucking rescue Chris. Like Chris needs their fucking help. Chris goes on the right. So I'll read what Chris said. Vibes of intimidation, potential grooming tactics and DMs to me from Jake Barber about Skywatcher event in Palmdale, California. In a shocking and somewhat alarming set of direct messages, Jake Barber reached out to me in an odd invitation to his future Skywatcher event in Palmdale, California, which should be exciting, but the undertones of the message are what threw up immediate red flags. The initial message sent to me without a request from me to DM or invitation was sent by Jake to me in an obvious attempt to convince me that I was on the proverbial wrong side of history. Here's what threw red flags for me. Number one, from the first paragraph throughout the entire message, Jake never refers to himself as I or me, but we and us. Notice this isn't from the Skywatcher account, it's from his personal account, so who is we? This is the only one where I'm like, man, I do this all the time on this show. I say we. When I talk about me, I feel uncomfortable saying I and me all the time because even though I'm doing this show by myself, I pay for all of these things to happen. Like, I'm putting in the work, I'm doing I'm taking the fucking time. I always use we because I include you guys and because you guys are here with me too. This show wouldn't exist if you guys definitely were not here. If there was only 2 people watching this show, I don't know if I'd be doing it. I barely want to do it as is, but the community needs voices that go against the grain, that actually question things and people and claims. So for this one, I'm just like, I can maybe understand saying we, but I also agree, like, it's just fucking weird. Like, who is we? Who is looking at my work history? Was it you or was it we? It's just not the way you say hello. It's just not the way you say hello. So I agree, and maybe I don't want to say disagree. I'll just say I'll give Jake a sliver of the benefit of the doubt, but I'll kind of lean toward Chris. Like, it's just a little weird. It's a weird hello. Number 2, he quote, I would encourage you to leave yourself a path out. That's such a weird fucking thing to say to a stranger in a hello message. And Chris says, I've been told this before, and it's a tactic used to make a person believe that the inevitable is on the horizon and I'm on the wrong side and will want to be forgiven when I'm wrong. Like, let's just say for a second that aliens are here visiting the planet Earth. Are we all going to turn around and put Chris in front of a tribunal and do what? Drag him behind a Humvee because he was skeptical of it? Is that what's going to happen to me? Like, what's going to happen to the people who were like calling this bullshit? What's going to happen to Mick West or Stephen Greenstreet? Are you guys going to put him in front of a fucking firing squad? Like, what does that mean? Leave yourself a path out? A path out of what? Are people not allowed to be wrong, you fucking egotistical asshole? Are people not allowed to change their minds when it comes to aliens visiting the planet Earth? When presented with evidence of it? Because I tell you, if I get evidence of it, I can do nothing but go, fuck, I was wrong. I have to eat crow. All of those shows I did, I would take them down because they're not relevant anymore. I was wrong. Clearly, here's the proof of aliens visiting our planet. And here's the scientific consensus. And here's the collective reality now. That's like, I don't understand. When that happens, what's the punishment for the people who are going, no, that wasn't true? I think that was bullshit. It's all just trust me, bro stories. So I just, what's the consequence? And why do I need to leave a path out? You guys are fucking assholes. Like, it's so stupid. He goes on to say, quote, there are things happening that you don't understand. Again, insinuating that the inevitable is happening and I'm uneducated or ignorant about it. But what else could be happening than for what's already shown? And that's a great question. Like, what else could be happening other than what's already been shown? Please, like, fucking show me something. Number 3, there's a complex disclosure plan underway that is 7 years in the making. Again, this is just, which is, quote, genuinely for the welfare of humanity, including you. Again, insinuating that I'm on the wrong side of history and that I should consider switching my stance. It's not even so much that you're just on the wrong side of history, but you're not even human to think the opposite way. Like, we're doing this genuinely for the welfare of humanity, including you, buddy. Right now, we think you're subhuman. You're not exactly on board with humanity. And we want to leave you a path back so you can be considered part of humanity again. Because those who don't leave themselves a path back, well, people keep asking why we're armed with AR-15s and guns on our fucking belts. I don't know. Don't want to infer anything, but let's just say you don't want to be on the wrong side of history. I mean, what in the fuck? He goes on to say there are things that are happening that you wouldn't understand. Oh, sorry, we already read this. Number 3. There's a complex disclosure plan under your 7 years for genuine humanity. Okay, so we read it on. Number 4, sorry. Here's where the scare tactics come into play. Quote, we know who you are and your work history. To me, this is the one that gave me kind of goosebumps. Because these are the things I was hearing. Like, these were the threats I was getting in the chat. You can ask Matt, who was a mod for that chat. When we did our last show, we were getting Russian and Arabic bots, thousands of them in the chat, calling me a traitor, saying things like, we know where you do shows, we know where you live, we know who you are. And I was very open with who I am. Everybody, I use my real name. Like, people know where I perform every month. Like, this right here is kind of like, And Chris goes on to say, this is a bit unsettling as my complete identity isn't public, and especially my work history. I actually asked him multiple times to clarify what he means, and he has still not answered the question in detail. Other than, oh, we just think that your work history fits with the work we're doing, and we're really interested in you. Or are you kind of holding that above my head as of, hey, if you don't leave yourself a path out, maybe people find out about this work history. It's really fucked up. And it's scary. This is your fucking whistleblower. These are the kind of messages he's sending people. Like, fuck you, Jake Barber. Straight up. Like, this is bullshit. Number 5, quote, you have an opportunity to be an important voice in the movement. Again, like, you've got an opportunity to make some money here, buddy. Be an important voice in the movement. This is an invitation to end up on the right side and see what is really going on. This is what Chris says. He goes, this is where the feeling of potential grooming tactics start. To be an important voice in the movement, keep reading to see why. Number 6, why was I targeted? Specifically you, because your background and personal interests are in alignment with ours. What? My only background that aligns with any of them is that I'm a veteran. Other than that, I don't believe what they're doing is anything noteworthy or works. This is what I've been saying about veterans being targeted in this community. There's a reason resume equals credibility, not evidence or proof. Quote, we believe you can still be spared from the agency paid propagandists. The others, not so much. Who are the others? That was my fucking question. We believe you can be spared from the agency paid propagandists? Who are they? Who are the agency paid propagandists? Do you have fucking evidence of that? The others, though, not so much. They're not going to be spared from what? Again, like, these are fucking threats, man. What are we going to be spared from? Let's just say for a second, Mick West is a paid propagandist. What are you going to do to him? What are you going to do? Are you going to take matters into your own hands? Because he can't be spared. According to you. This is just fucking... And it's shit like this that's said behind the scenes that weaponizes assholes and dummies like King Milkfart, like Fettuccine Split, like Darren Reed, like Mary Misanthrope, like UAP Mike, like Tupacabra, like fucking Red Panda Shitface, like all of these fucking UFO zealots, prophets of profit, and assholes. Like, all of these people are told something behind the scenes, or they're hinted, or they're made to feel special, or they're retweeted by their fucking UFO hero, or they're talked about by their fucking Joe Rogan, or whatever the fuck it is, dude. It always takes precedent to what the actual facts are. It's fucking gross. There are several other messages where I was shown interest in attending, but after analyzing the messages, talking to several people inside the community and outside, it was advised that I not accept the invitation. I was informed that during the filming of the last episode of Skywatcher, that several of the crew were armed with rifles while on the premises. Why? They rented the property. They rented the fucking property. See Dave Beatty's post. So Dave Beatty is an actual journalist, and he found that the property these guys are doing their UFO hunting on is private property. They rented it. So why are they carrying fucking weapons? What's the point of that? To me, it's a major risk on my part or anyone else's to go to a random place in the middle of nowhere with people I don't know personally who may be suffering from undiagnosed mental instabilities or PTSD and are armed. I think that's a wise decision. It sounds like a potential recipe for disaster, especially for someone like me that would ask critical questions and not sugarcoat anything. It's a great fucking point. I sure as fuck wouldn't go out there. And here's the thing also. Turns out the place that they're inviting people to is Palmdale, California. Lockheed Martin, NASA, military bases. It is literally a cradle of the military industrial complex right there in Palmdale, California. So guess what? You're gonna see weird shit in the sky. You're going to see blurry things in the sky, and these dickheads are going to take pictures of it and then come to us and go, look what we took pictures of. Look at us. We're so smart. We're so smart. Look at the pictures we take. Isn't this amazing? Wow, that's alien, you guys. That little fucking blurry, whatever it is. That's an alien. That's what we do. We're Skywatcher. Look at us. Ooh, we're the best. We're the bee's knees, Skywatcher. And that's another thing here. The claim from Skywatchers and the fucking psionic dickheads and the Stephen Greers and all of these mind-reading dickwads like Astral, all these fucking dummies that think remote viewing is real. Like, it's fucking the dumbest shit I've ever heard. If it's so fucking real, where are all the remote viewers? Who's the most famous remote viewer? What did they remote view that was been spot on and fucking undeniable? You can't point to them because they don't fucking exist. But, according to these fucking hippies, you've got to be left-handed and gay, and you've got to have feminine qualities, and you got to be about love and light, and you got to be Native American, according to some people. You've got to be on the fucking mental spectrum, according to Gary Nolan, or schizophrenic, or mentally retarded. Like, those are the parameters in which you have to be, and according to Chris Bledsoe, as you heard before, you can't be skeptical either. If you want to see alien spaceships, you have to be either all of those things and definitely not one of those things. Like, it's the dumbest fucking, bona fides I got to show to get into a really stupid club. Chris goes on to say, it's my belief that there is an attempt underway to target and manipulate veterans, specifically those with any types of characteristics of PTSD, to partake in a seemingly cult-like group of individuals who have been caught multiple times lying about their backgrounds, specifically Barber. This is a public service announcement to the community. And I think part of the reason we talked about this, and I just straight up called it out in his space, Chris was seeing specifically one veteran that he talks to who all of a sudden in the last 2 months has become this psionic super soldier who was kidnapped as a child and has been trained to fight aliens all his life. And he's just now coming to that realization. This is a person who suffers from PTSD. This is a person who has been told he's got psionic abilities. This is a person who has been groomed and fucking and looked after a group of people that have convinced him he is a fucking super soldier. And that's Shane Franks. And he's on Twitter, and a lot of people know who he is. He's a nice guy. Mostly harmless, but now his hobby has manifested itself in real time into a place where he thinks he's a psionic super soldier. And one day, he's going to come to a realization that he's not. And I don't want to be around when that day goes down. Because once you're a psionic super soldier, where else is there to go mentally? And that's where people like Jake Barber are fucking dangerous, in my opinion. He's going out to the desert in a well-known air traffic place with top secret planes and experimental aircraft, taking pictures of it, then turning around and telling people you're going to be on the wrong side of history and you better leave yourself a path out. Because if you don't, there might be consequences for you, basically. You're inferring. There's a lot of inferring in those messages. And guess what? We had the space, and guess who didn't show up? He was tweeting about it as he was responding to the space to other people while the space was going on. So he was aware that we were having the discussion about him. He was aware that Chris was showing people all of these messages. And guess what he didn't do? Show up to answer some simple fucking questions. Like, did you actually liberate Kuwait? That's like question number one for me. Question number two would be like, hey, did you realize that you guys, for that UFO dogfight that you presented on News Nation, realized you were filming birds? When you look at it, you can see the flapping of the wings. You want to talk about that? I'm sure I'll leave the inaccuracies of your military record and the accusations of stolen valor to the veterans who've been claiming that. The other veterans are saying you're doing stolen valor. Not me. That's not my fucking sandbox. But when other veterans are saying it, I can sure as fucking listen to it. And when it makes sense, I'm agreeing with it. Kind of feels like stolen valor. And then not have the moxie to show up when you have the opportunity to set the record straight. I mean, it seems like a lost opportunity. So we got about 15 minutes left. Let's try and power through a couple of these other things. It's just so funny. Some people did an AI summary of the whole conversation. And yeah, even the AI was like, yeah, it sounds like they're trying to manipulate you. Sounds like they're trying to groom you and get you into this false sense of security. Like as if they're your friends. I don't have time to read it, but I've shared it. Go check it out. Go to my Twitter at Lou Angeles. I share all of these things with you guys. There's another. I don't think we have time to play, but this is great. I mean, dude, highly recommend checking out that little clip from Secret Court. I don't know if we'll have time for this. I wanted to play this Diana Pasulka clip because again, this is just like just gone full simple Jack. Like that's as nice as I could put it with Diana Pasulka. Listen to what she says here. This is just fucking incredible.
It's that there's a spiritual component to this. And if you don't get with the spiritual component, you're not going to have access to the information. That's what.
So if you don't believe, you're not going to get access to the information. That's what she's saying. You got to believe in this spiritual component. If you're not with it, you're not going to get it. Okay, go on, Professor Pasulka.
What I believe, only because that's how I've seen it in the last 12 years. So since I've been doing this, there are a lot of people, governments, people who represent government, our government, who are scrambling to figure this technology out, safeguard this technology, or, do something with technology for either weapons or to better humanity, all of these things. But
she knows this. She knows this. Because she's in on the spiritual component. She's in on it. But okay, all right, go on.
The people who I've met who seem to have the most access to this, they don't have those intentions. Those intentions are not their intentions. So to me, there seems to be, just like when you said you did psychedelics, your intention was
go on,
allowed you to have a positive experience. That's my interpretation. Because why do I think that? I'm not randomly just thinking that. I'm thinking that because I'm going back to the history of these protocols that allow people to access these realms.
What are those protocols?
And when you are reverent and respectful, it seems there's a better outcome. Well, maybe that's the case here. I don't know. But that's so far my conclusion.
Got it. Okay. So you have to be a religious nut to see the aliens. Which is kind of what she is, in my opinion. And she's real good friends with the crazy asshole we spent the first hour and 15 minutes of this show about. God, there was another clip of her. I thought she was talking about the idea that you had to take psychedelics, the psilocybin. I'm pretty sure it was her. I thought I saved the clip, but I guess I didn't. This was an insanely great article from Bloomberg. If you guys have never heard of Joe Firmage, go check him out. This is a guy that Brandon Fugel was investing in for his first paranormal stint at discovering, breakthrough technologies. But in an extremely in-depth article on the internet pioneer Joe Firmage, who left Silicon Valley to hunt for UFOs and scam gullible millionaires, the microcosm of a larger UFO scam currently seducing the mainstream media and the United States Congress. Again, like, this guy stole millions. It's a great article. Go check it out. Yeah, it's a perfect microcosm of sort of everything that's going down today. This is too funny thing. I had to play this because this is just perfect. Another Secret Core clip. It says Gary Nolan asked Matthew Pines the age-old question, quote, "Can you be accused of murdering aliens?" And these are the real fucking conversations that they're having at Soul. Like, this is the fucking peak stupidity. But listen to this.
Can you be accused of murdering an alien? Under human law.
I don't know. Right. Can you?
Can you,
Gary? Can you? I'm going to hit the, I just don't want to get hit with a copyright because I know I have a feeling this music will definitely hit it. But yeah, all right.
Let's alien technology, because, the premise of patents is that you can't patent something that's already been invented.
And I love it. He's mocking it in the framing of Between Two Ferns, and it seriously, if you didn't know who Gary Nolan was or Matthew Pines, and you just came across this, you might be convinced it's a Between Two Ferns discussion or interview or part of the movie, maybe.
But if it was invented by an alien, they don't fall under human law. So maybe you can't patent something. So maybe all these patents that Lockheed maybe has are in violation. So what is the standard of evidence you think that we need to talk to our legal friends, lawyers or professors, that say?
So he's saying that Lockheed Martin and all of these companies have had access to this alien technology, and they've made patents of this alien technology. And is that fair? Is that fair to the rest of humanity that they got these patents first? I don't know. We're going to have to talk to our legal buddies about it. Sounds like a lawsuit's coming.
That say, hey, maybe it's time to start thinking about this, even if it's just a thought exercise.
Oh my God, dude. Amazing work, Secret Core. Amazing work. Amazing work. So good. This is funny. Here's Jake Barber's psionic mentor, the one and only Uncle Chucky, the old wishing machine with a helmet.
Good evening, my loyal Casamaniacs. Well, right now it's the 6th of April.
Volume
Tomorrow
control, first portable to the wishing machine. Let's go to the wishing machine.
This was the wishing machine, a variant on the wishing machine. Instead of the copper plate going into the amplifier, a helmet, direct connection. Instead of an ordinary antenna, we have this internally amplified, psychically amplified antenna.
Oh, okay.
And it worked really well.
Cool.
Very simple device.
Yeah, he looks totally trustworthy. Totally true. He's got a psychic antenna and a fucking a 1970s fucking Raleigh baseball helmet with a fucking mohawk taped on with electrical tape. Oh, wow, what the fuck's going on with this guy? But if it's true that it makes sense if this is Jake Barber's like mentor. Tommy Boyle 71, $2 dono. Thank you so much. Keep the faith and ye shall see. Laughing emojis. Yeah, we shall see, man. I don't think we will. I think we're just all gonna get a really good laugh out of it. So this is another tweet. This is a tweet here from Jake Barber. And I think it was in response to, this is an excellent example of how two people can interpret the exact same message. So of course there was people online who who didn't like what Chris did, and honestly, fuck them. If they don't want to hear truth when it happens, then I don't know, man. Keep living life with blinders on. But Jake responded to it saying, everyone has been lied to and misled on this subject for such a long time. I am completely sympathetic to the hate and the frustration. These truths also carry such profound implications for everyone's worldview and spiritual identity. It's heavy, and belief is a very personal thing. Yeah, you bet your ass it is. We really want to give everyone an opportunity to have a firsthand personal experience with NHI. We are here to forgive everyone for their behavior towards us. Quote, they know not what they do. They really haven't gotten to know us. They will see our true colors in time. That's the mission of Skywatcher. This is a nonprofit effort. It's for the gift, or it is a gift, he said. We'll see, buddy. But it was Jeremy McGowan who took that response and then retweeted and said, then Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. But this isn't a religion, cult, control construct, or anything like that. Nope, not at all. This is just getting all sorts of icky. It sounds like a fucking cult. Because it is. This was an interesting thing that happened today. Or yesterday, actually. This was really funny. Was it this morning? I don't know. It was at some point. I think it was last night. So this was okay. So last night, Stephen Greenstreet had retweeted this picture that was found by the Flesh Simulator on Twitter, and it's people are going through this USAID grant flow that's been revealed here since the president's taken over, and it shows here that the Intercept Media in the tax year 2023 compensated Kenneth Klippenstein $208,000 in 1 year as an investigative reporter, which is a lot of money. It's a great little paycheck from one media company. And it's interesting that what the Intercept is getting money from our government to pay its investigators. It's kind of, I don't know, a conflict of interest to say the least. But he's an independent contractor. He has a right to make that kind of money. And if a company wants to pay him that kind of money to investigate stuff, so be it. Of course, this was used as some sort of conspiracy because if you may or may not know, it was Ken Klippenstein that revealed the marital troubles, we'll just say, of one whistleblower. Gosh, who was the whistleblower, guys? I just got Jake Barber on the mind. They're both bald. The other whistleblower, guys, what's his name? I'm really having a brain fart. So many whistleblowers. But anyway, he revealed that the whistleblower the police have been sent out to his house twice because the wife called the police because they thought they were going to get hurt. He had to be admitted into a mental facility for a 24-hour watch. Dave Grush. Yeah, it was Dave Grush. And the entire community got really pissed off at Ken Klippenstein because he found this out about the whistleblower Dave Grush, that he's had 2 major mental breakdowns to a point where police were called. And by his ex-wives. It's part of the story. Whether you like the story or not, it's relevant, especially if the guy is claiming that aliens are visiting the planet Earth. So of course this was used as some sort of, the government gave Ken Klippenstein $208,000 to ruin the life of David Grush. No, that's not what happened. Not what happened at all. But of course, people like Jesse Michaels couldn't help themselves. The old American alchemy American goonbag that just cannot. He's so fucking smart, but he is mentally deficient when it comes to UFO trust me bro stories. He's just a complete idiot when it comes to UFOs. And that's what his friend and colleague, Eric Weinstein, said about him. Like, he's a really smart guy, but when it comes to UFOs, he's retarded. Like, he's not smart when it comes to UFOs, and he falls and believes everything. So he writes out, turns out the reporter that used David Grush's combat-related PTSD to discredit his UFO whistleblower claims was a bought and paid-for shill brought to you by U.S. aid. He was bought and paid for by the United States aid, by the government, and that's not true. The Intercept paid him, not the government, the Intercept. So he got a lot of shit for this. Stephen Greasy writes, Jesse Michaels, a popular UFO promoter and Peter Thiel associate investor, deleted this tweet, which accuses journalist Ken Klippenstein of being a bought and paid for shill for USAID. The image he shared was Klippenstein's salary from the Intercept, not USAID. Michaels is known to promote baseless and unfounded claims. He recently released a video which credulously promotes UFO whistleblowers who use psychic powers to summon alien entities. And it's true. That's Jesse Michaels. That's American alchemy. That's what he's giving you. And yeah, so this was interesting. This popped up right before the show. And that was, well, now, wonder who happens to be connected to this. And he tags Black Vault. If you haven't, I will. In other words, going to do a Freedom of Information Act on this. But it's another receipt from USAID. And the recipient name is Thomas Reuters Special Services. And the award description, it was a $9.1 million grant. And it's for active social engineering defense and large E-scale social deception. Yeah, I think I'd love to know what the fuck's that's all about. Yeah, I'd love to see what the FOIA brings back on that. So I thought that was interesting. Dude, I don't know. We're about to go through some interesting times. This is the last thing I'm going to show you here. How many? Because I thought this was fun. I made this little edit and let me see. Yeah, no, it doesn't really work when I do that. Planes are in the garage. I was inspired by the YouTube TikTok shorts. I know nothing about Pokemon, but for some reason in my YouTube short feed, I get this guy who opens Pokemon packs. Sometimes they're old ones, and before he opens it, there's this little song that comes up that says, should I open it or should I keep it sealed? And then he opens it and he goes through the pack, he finds the good ones, he completely busts on the pack because the sealed pack is worth more than the cards in it. Anyway, that inspired me to make this little video. I figured I had to preface it with that. But this one is called, How Many RC Planes Are in the Garage? How many RC planes are in the garage?
I think it's hard to say.
It was 1, 2,
with all the
3, 4,
going on in the world.
5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, and possibly 11. I mean, honestly, that last one just kind of looked like one of these kind of floaty UFO, maybe kind of blimp drone, maybe. Or it could be a light. I'm not sure. That's why 11 is kind of with a question mark, but 10 for fucking sure. And just to keep in mind, like, if you're listening on a podcast, this is a 9:16 ratio. Okay, this is the ratio for TikTok. And just in this, I mean, look how much frame we are missing in this. There are even more planes in here, and they're stacked on top. He flies RC planes. It to me, it's not that far of a fetch for him to attach lights to an RC plane, or one of his kids to attach lights to an RC plane, fly it above his house, do some maneuvers as he's filming it, and then boom, you've got more UFO stories. And people believe it. And what's even more funny is I love the people who are like, how's this relevant? I don't know. He sees orbs, calls down to God that heals people all the time. And he's an RC enthusiast. As a matter of fact, he's literally the plans that you see on the desk are for a new RC plane that he's building from scratch. What are the odds? Do you think he's really seeing alien orbs coming down from different planets or from heaven? Or do you think maybe one of his kids is busting some bullshit while he's filming it? I don't know. Which one's more likely? You tell me. I'll leave you guys with that one. That's the show, y'all. That is the show. I want to thank everybody, especially all the people who donated to the show. Tommy Boyle. And I can't see the other ones that we had. Sorry. I don't have... Oh, wait. You know what? Should have them right here. Pat Calabria. And then we just got a subscriber. Metcalf, thank you for subscribing. Pat Calabria, thank you for the $5 dono. Jonathan Fredericks, thank you for the $5 dono. Appreciate it. You guys, always fun. Dana Shadell, thank you for being here. I know you're on the other side of the world. Appreciate it. Thank you for being a member. Pinzerloo, thank you for being such an incredible mod. Same with Matt. Tell your boyfriend I said hi. Not I Become Death, thank you for being here as always. All of you guys out there, I appreciate all of you guys. Seriously. The show, like I said, last show we had, it's getting bigger. It's growing again, which is cool. I was not expecting that. We hit our low as far as loss of subscriptions, and now we're steadily holding where we're at. And hopefully we'll hit that. Are we at 12,000? Let's hit 12,000. See if we can get up to 12,000 here in the next month or two. That would be great. You guys, if you love the show, please like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. That way you're notified anytime we go live. Check out our links in the description below. You can follow us on Twitter and donate to us on our Venmo, or like all these wonderful people did through Super Chat. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for embarking on this journey of discovery together. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you for subscribing to Lou Reviews. Until next time, appreciate you helping me raise the bar. See you guys later. Peace out.